The battle for video game popularity between Mario and Sonic is probably eternal, but it's undeniable that the Blue Hedgehog has been gaining more and more fame, especially after the release of his 3 movies. But did you know there are hundreds of Sonic appearances in various movies and cartoons that most people have no idea about? To kick off our list, let's talk about one of the longest-running cartoons ever, The Simpsons. And let's clarify right away, there are several Sonic references throughout Springfield's beloved family series. The first one we'll mention pokes fun at the ugly Sonic design that Paramount released in 2020 during the preview of the first Blue Hedgehog movie. This joke takes place in the episode Do Pizza Bots Dream of Electric Guitars, where comic book guy is at a diner talking to Homer and remarks that Hollywood spent a fortune removing ugly Sonic's human teeth to turn him into the Sonic we all saw in theaters. He even pulls out his laptop to show the difference between the 2 versions, making the jab unmistakable. Honestly, it's a good thing they did that, because that first Sonic design was downright terrifying.
Oh my God!
It was so bad, so memorably bad, that it even got a shout-out in Chip and Dale, Rescue Rangers, 2022. The movie featuring the detective chipmunk duo had the guts to mock one of the biggest controversies surrounding Sonic's films. In the movie, Ugly Sonic is portrayed as a washed-up actor from an older generation who starred in various action films, as we can see from the posters behind him. He even embraced his meme status to become famous, but you can't help but feel a little sorry for him, since he doesn't seem thrilled that people only like him for being ugly. Despite this, Sonic's less attractive sibling turns out to be one of the funniest characters in Chip and Dale, Rescue Rangers, and there are way more Sonic references where these came from. Stick with us until the end, because we're about to blow your mind. The Amazing World of Gumball is one of those shows that manages to feature every kind of character, from dinosaurs to talking bananas. Among Gumball's classmates is Ocho, a pixelated 8-bit figure. This character is a true homage to the gaming world. Ocho is so involved in the video game universe that he can even use cheats in real life. But that's not all. He has 2 very iconic uncles, and one of them is none other than Super Mario. The other uncle is mentioned but doesn't appear physically. Ocho says he's an incredibly fast blue hedgehog. Any guesses who he's talking about? At the end of the episode, Gumball decides to find Ocho in hopes of meeting this famous uncle. To make the reference even clearer, Gumball takes off running at super speed, exactly like Sonic in the games. Let's return to The Simpsons for a classic episode filled with references to famous games. The story takes place during Christmas and follows Bart as he faces a dilemma. Should he steal a newly released game from the store or not? While grappling with this moral crisis, his imagination brings iconic characters to life to discourage him from shoplifting. This scene features well-known heroes like Mario, Luigi, and Donkey Kong. Naturally, there's also a hilarious version of a certain blue hedgehog, a hyperactive Sonic who won't stop talking and zipping around. This exaggerated portrayal fits perfectly within Matt Groening's comedic universe. In Ready Player One, Sonic makes a quick cameo that many people missed. During a massive battle in the digital world of the Oasis, he appears sprinting at high speed to join the fight. Although brief, his appearance was enough to thrill fans. And that's not all. He can also be spotted in the corner of the screen as players gather together. You'll need sharp eyes not to miss him. Now tell us honestly, if you're a fan of the Blue Hedgehog, drop a comment below with the hashtag #Sonic. In one of the hilarious episodes of Teen Titans Go, Starfire decides to destroy all of Robin's hair gel jars. The result? Robin is utterly lost, unable to style his hair as usual. And let's be honest, Robin is known for his impeccable look. Desperate, he tries out a series of different hairstyles. This sequence is a true celebration of pop culture references. The spiky hair of Bart Simpson, Goku's messy style, and finally Sonic's iconic spiky look. If you think his hair didn't resemble Sonic's that much, take a look at this fan art of Robin dressed in Sonic's colors. After seeing this, I bet you'll change your mind. The Disney Channel show Amphibia tells the story of Anne, a strong-willed 13-year-old girl who isn't always easy to deal with. Her life takes a drastic turn when she's magically transported to a world inhabited by talking frogs. In one episode, Anne takes her new frog friends to hide in a movie theater. Guess what film is playing? An animated movie about a super-fast hedgehog. But there's a twist. Instead of blue, the hedgehog is purple. This is a clear reference to Sonic, and it's no coincidence since the show's creator, Matt Browley, is a huge fan of the character. If you've ever watched Craig of the Creek, you know this boy is extremely nerdy and loves pop culture. Naturally, the show is packed with nods to classic programs and games. In one episode, Craig finds a super rare action figure called Dr. Robomelette. The name is a clever mashup of robot and omelet and is clearly a parody of Dr. Robotnik, aka Eggman. But that's not all. In the same episode, Sonic gets a hilarious parody too. He appears as a brown ferret named Slide, wearing green shoes instead of Sonic's iconic red ones. Would you play a game called Slide the Ferret? Watch the episode and let us know what you think. In another iconic episode of The Simpsons, we're taken back to Homer and Marge's younger years, where they are still madly in love. During a heartfelt conversation about their dreams and future, Homer tries to show Marge he truly understands her desires. He points to a roadside billboard, and what do we see? Sonic proposing to Amy Rose. This scene isn't just a casual nod, but a subtle joke for fans of the franchise, who have long rooted for Amy, who is perpetually in love with Sonic in games and cartoons, to finally win the Blue Hedgehog's heart. Although this moment is just a joke within The Simpsons, it carries a fun and nostalgic significance for fans of Sonic the Hedgehog. Who knows, maybe this union will happen in one of Sonic's future movies. In the irreverent show American Dad, we find yet another hilarious reference to Sonic. Francine, the family matriarch, tries to cheer up her daughter by offering her an ice cream cone, but the treat is melted, and Sonic's face on the ice cream has become completely deformed. This moment is a clear nod to the infamous original version of Ugly Sonic, which almost made it to theaters in the first Sonic movie before fans rejected it. The joke takes this initial fiasco and turns the melted ice cream into an even funnier satire. If you don't want to visit from Ugly Sonic at your house, here's a tip. Subscribe to our channel right now. We've got an anti-ugly suggestion for all subscribers. Family Guy, created by the same mind behind American Dad, is arguably one of the animated shows that parodies movies, TV series, and video games the most. Naturally, Sonic doesn't escape its radar. In one scene, we see Peter, the protagonist, sitting at the bar with his friends. He comments that his current situation is worse than the time he was in Sonic's game. The scene cuts to Peter dressed in an outfit identical to Sonic's, talking to a version of Tails. He complains that he's experiencing lead poisoning because he collected too many rings, thinking they were onion rings. Peter then collapses face first to the ground, and golden rings fly out of his body with the familiar sound effect, indicating that he had died. The world of gaming is the central inspiration for OKKO, which blends elements of classic fighting games like Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat with playful nods to other franchises. One of the most unforgettable episodes of the series is practically a full-blown tribute to Sonic the Hedgehog. Right at the beginning, the episode treats us to a recreation of the iconic title screen from the classic Sonic games. That alone would be enough to secure its spot on this list, but the adventure doesn't stop there. During the same episode, Sonic himself makes an appearance, helping KO on a special mission. And if that wasn't exciting enough, Tails also shows up, sending any Sonic fan into a frenzy. In the episode The Wife Aquatic, Homer takes Bart and Lisa to a pop culture convention full of comics, movies, and gaming. During the convention, there's a moment when Homer stops at a booth promoting a Call of Duty-style game. In the background, we see a large statue of a blue figure with red sneakers and white gloves. Although the character isn't named, it's obvious that this is a samurai-inspired version of the fastest blue hedgehog in the universe, Sonic. It's proof that The Simpsons doesn't miss a thing when it comes to pop culture references. Among the many Sonic appearances in entertainment, one of the most iconic is in Disney's Wreck-It Ralph. Set in a world where video game characters live their own lives inside arcades, the movie features a flood of incredible references to gaming legends like Bowser from Super Mario Bros., Zangief from Street Fighter, Pac-Man, and of course, Sonic. Sonic doesn't just appear in memorable scenes, his inclusion also marked the official debut of the Blue Hedgehog in a feature film. Interestingly, Wreck-It Ralph, released in 2012, was Sonic's first cinematic appearance, 7 years before he starred in his own movie in 2020. This cameo was a milestone, proving that Sonic has always held a special place in fans' hearts. In the sequel, Ralph Breaks the Internet, fans had even more reason to celebrate. Sonic makes another appearance, and this time he plays a more significant role. When Ralph and Vanellope dive into the vast universe of the internet, who better to explain how it works than Sonic himself? This moment makes perfect sense. After all, as one of the fastest characters in video game history, Sonic surely mastered the internet before anyone else. The scene is a shining example of how Disney continues to leverage Sonic's appeal to entertain both longtime fans and a new generation. As Bugs Bunny would say, that's all folks, or is it? We've got 2 more videos lined up for you to keep the fun going. Trust me, you won't regret it. See you next time.